peace of our blessed Lord be with you, dearly beloved. Receive this peace deep within you. Make it something personal. For the Lord brings us to this beautiful day to reflect on chapter 32 of the book of Genesis. Jacob and his uncle, who also doubles as his father-in-law, are now separating. It is Laban who takes the lead, kisses his children and grandchildren, then takes leave of Jacob. We are told in 32 verse number 2 that as Jacob set on his way, angels of God met him. And I want us to look at this whole chapter in this way. Don't forget that we are reading each chapter, every chapter, in the light of the promises made to Abraham. The promise of land and the promise of children. And I've told you that whenever there is a threat to the promise, whether promise of the land or promise of the descendants, God intervenes. We have seen one of the promises almost fulfilled because Jacob now has 11 children. But he is still sojourning on the land. He has not acquired the land. So there is a threat on his life. This time the threat could be seen on both promises. One, the land has not been acquired. His father-in-law wanted him to keep him still with him, but Jacob wanted to move on. And secondly, the threat concerning the descendants. The father-in-law declaring that the children and the grandchildren were his own property. Then the second threat on the descendants was Jacob's fear of going to meet his brother Esau, whom he had deceived, as we read in the preceding chapters. So God intervenes to assure Jacob by bringing the angels to accompany him. And I caption Genesis 32 as an angelic wall. What do I mean by an angelic wall? Friends, remember in the book of Exodus, which we shall be reading later, it will be the descendants of this same Jacob who have now multiplied and have become almost a nation, who will cross the Sea of Reeds or the Red Sea on dry land with the waters serving as wall to their right and to the left. Exodus 14:29. But the Israelites had walked on dry land through the midst of the sea, with the water as a wall to their right and to their left. Before Israel, which has now become a nation, tribes that come together to form a nation, walked through the Red Sea with the water serving as a wall on their right and their left. Their father, their great-great-great-grandfather, Jacob, had walked through angels as a wall. That is the angelic wall. So before you today, before you walk through these protective walls, or before, it is because we are now praying, before your children, your nephews and nieces after you will come to walk protected. Tonight, as we reflect on this chapter, we will be accompanied by God's angels serving as a wall. In the book of the prophet Zechariah, chapter 2, verses 9, God says concerning Jerusalem that there was going to be a fire wall around Jerusalem, the city. So before even Jerusalem, the holy city, was privileged to have God himself as a fiery wall around it. In the book of the prophet Zechariah 2:9, God had made an angelic wall to receive Jacob as he moved away from Padan Aram back to his father's land. Then the fear of going to meet Esau because of the past. Jacob was still living in the past. So that encounter with the angel served two things. The Lord who had accompanied Jacob was wiping off that past memory to bring Jacob to live in the present. And this is what I mean. Jacob has acquired property. He has acquired descendants. He is strong now. He is gradually becoming nation. But he is not aware of this fact. And he has set his mind on the past. On the past where he was the younger brother. On the past where, although he was a twin, he was the lesser. But now, as he goes to meet Esau, he is no longer that lesser twin. He is no longer that less or younger brother or younger twin. Rather, the angel wants to assure Jacob how great he is. That is the first thing. So, if you are able to struggle, battle with an angel the whole night and prevail, it means that Jacob could battle men, non-angelic beings, and prevail. In this battle or struggle with the angel at night, some have read and tried to interpret it that it was his brother Esau who came to struggle with him at night. No, it is not Esau. It was an angel of the Lord. Then the second meaning, was that before dawn struck, in the course of the struggle, when Jacob was asking the name of the angelic being and the angelic being refused, and dawn struck, we are told that the angel struck the hip of Jacob. And he started limping. The second reason is this. In striking the hip of Jacob, the angel disguised Jacob as he went to meet Esau. He disguised him in the sense of presenting Jacob as a weakling, somebody who was weak, so that Esau wouldn't do any harm against him. In our spiritual lives, our spiritual journeys, there are times God in his own wisdom will disguise us to confuse the enemy. I pray that as we reflect once again on chapter 32, we will not live in the past, but live in the present, moving towards the future. And when the past comes to hound us, to terrify us, let the fear of God rather terrify us, because it is that fear of God that will bring us to conquer. As you find yourself in this angelic war, may the Lord bring you to prevail against all the elements that may be rising against you. Be blessed. Amen.
you.